So you've just got back from your pack rafting trip. I'm going to show you what you need to do to care and maintain and make sure that you get the maximum life out of this. I don't know about you, but when you get back from a pack raft trip, the last thing you really want to do is clean and tidy all your gear, but it is also one of the most important things that you should do. My vehicle tends to look exactly like this, stuff everywhere. Now it's time for a little bit more work so you can keep enjoying your gear for a long period of time. So after you've got back from your trip, come out into a backyard, somewhere nice that you've got, preferably where you've got a hose. If not, you could do this with a sponge or a bucket, something like that. Inflate the boat, don't put too much pressure in it, especially if you're outside in the sun. Don't leave it in the sun for very long at all because you're gonna risk overpressuring it because there isn't any cold water. Give it a good hose. Make sure you get all the sand, sticks, all that stuff. Make sure you give the zipper a bit of a clean. If you've been somewhere really dirty, don't be afraid to get a bucket and sponge and a little bit of soapy water and just give it a going over so the boat's nice and clean. Give it a good hose. After you've hosed it, particularly if it's a self-bailer, try and get as much water out as you can. You know, those holes are spaced around, so you might have to maneuver the boat around a little bit. Don't leave it in the sun for any longer than it's necessary because this thing is going to pressurize, it's going to get hot and you could risk rupturing it because it's gone over pressure. So I like to go and put mine in the shade somewhere, whether it's against the house or under a tree, to dry it out. So once you've given it all a wash and it's dry, it's not a bad idea to give it a vacuum out, particularly if you've got a boat that is a non-self-bailing boat, so it's just an open boat, or it's a spray deck boat. It's really hard to get all the grit, sticks, any of that little bits of stuff out that might be hiding down in the crevices. Now this boat is a self-bailer, so it's a little bit easier, you can flush most things out. But even then it still ends up with a bit of grit and things in it, so give it a vacuum. So if you just stepped off the water and you need to pack it up and you're gonna carry it, couple of ways you can do it. You can fold it really tight and then put some straps around it. So if you're not carrying the bag, that's a really good option. You know, if you're strapping it to the top of a pack, or you're gonna put it down the back of, say, like a Mystery Ranch pack or something like that, folding is really good. It will create a little bit stronger crease lines as you fold it over. But if you're gonna roll it and put it in a bag because you've carried the bag in, the bag doesn't weigh a lot of extra, but it does mean that you've got a chance to, you got to roll it a bit tighter. So you really need to fold the edges in on it, fold the bow in, and then you're going to have to roll it as tight as you can. We've been out in the sun for a minute here, so it started to actually soften up. If you're in cold river, this is going to be a fair bit more difficult. Now I've got a little bit of air right at the back, at the stern here. I've just popped the TiZip to make my life a little bit easier there. It's going to mean I'm able to actually pop this thing in the bag. Probably should have folded the edges a little bit more, but this is actually a double, so she's pretty bulky Packraft. This is the Forager from Alpaca. So a bit more bulk, but great raft. So something to really, you know, if you want to really look after your raft, it's not always practical, but try and roll this up on somewhere soft, so soft grass away from sharp objects. You don't want to be rolling up sticks or rocks or anything sharp into this, and you definitely don't want to be leaning hard on the raft and have something that's going to puncture it through. So if I'm getting off the river and I'm going to do a fold, basically this is the same fold that I would do if I'm going to store it or I'm going to get off the river. So coming off the river, I'm going to try and do it a bit more tighter. So I'm really going to try and make sure that I've got nice folds, avoiding any sharp rocks, dirt, really excess getting in, and then getting to the end. Now, if I'm doing the storage fold, I'm pretty much doing the same thing, but I'm not going to run any compression straps around it and really try and tighten it up. So you can do this to fold it over again nice and tight, and it's almost as tight as what you can roll it as well. But like I said, if you're going to store it, I tend to try and make my folds about the same length as what the TiZip is. So that means it's going to be nice and flat when it's folded. It's not going to have a kink in it. You're not going to introduce any problems to it long term. One of the most important things that you can do with your Packraft is look after the zip. Now they're pretty easy to look after. After you've given your boat a good wash, all the dirt, the grit and things is gone, give it a bit of a wipe over down the zip so you make sure you get rid of any of that final bits of dust and grit. Then what you're going to need is a little bit of silicone-based lubricant, which is what this is. This comes with some of the zips. You're going to want to open it up, and then you're going to want to apply this to the teeth. It's pretty easy. It's just a matter of getting some of it on the zip, getting some of it over the teeth. Don't put too much on. You can always give it another go. And then what you want to do is you want to work the zip up and down. Now by doing that, it's going to spread it out. And then after that, it's a matter of just wiping off the excess. And at the same time, you're wiping it off, but you're also getting it full coverage down the zipper as well. So you're giving it a little bit of a protective layer. That's it. Maintain your zip. Do it regularly. You're not going to hurt it by doing it too often, but you will hurt it by not doing it at all. And when it's all dry, I store mine loosely folded on a shelf. So I've got a nice big shelf here. Doesn't put any pressure on it. I don't put anything sharp over the top or anything on top to compress it. And it's ready to go for the next time we go out. I hope you enjoyed my overview of what you should do to maintain your raft. Pack rafts are amazing things that'll take you to amazing places. If you look after it, you're going to get a longer lifespan out of it than if you just abuse it, store it wet, all that sort of stuff. So don't forget that when you get home, you still need to do a little bit of maintenance and make sure that you look after these things so you can keep enjoying the outdoors.